What if I told you that the legendary recovery peptide TB-500 doesn't actually possess inherent wound healing activity on its own? It turns out TB-500 is a bit of a slacker until it gets inside your system. A pivotal 2024 study revealed that it acts essentially as a prodrug. It remains completely inactive until your local tissue enzymes chop it down into a specific 5-amino-acid metabolite called Ac-LKKTE. Your elite level injury recovery is completely at the mercy of your body's personal biochemical unboxing video. Welcome back to Peptide Corner. I'm Tom. As a chartered chemical process engineer, I look at the human body more as a complex chemical plant, which helps me translate heavy molecular science into plain English, so you don't have to spend your weekends crying over medical literature. Putting these deep dives together does take an immense amount of hours, so please, if you enjoy getting raw, science-backed breakdowns without the typical internet hype, please take a quick second to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and click the bell icon. Your support genuinely helps me navigate the algorithms to keep bringing you the content that you love. Also, as a quick mandatory check for safety, this video is for educational and research purposes only. It's not medical advice. If you're going to try any chemicals, please speak to your physician first. Let's clear up the biggest case of identity theft in the world of biohacking. Online vendors and fitness influencers constantly use the terms Thymosin Beta-4 and TB-500 interchangeably. They aren't the same thing. They're completely distinct chemical entities with entirely different biological dynamics. Thymosin Beta-4, or T-Beta-4, is a natural, highly conserved 43 amino acid polypeptide produced endogenously by your platelets and macrophages right after an injury to protect and repair tissue. Structurally, it belongs to a fascinating class called intrinsically unstructured proteins, or IUPs, meaning it has the structural plasticity to remodel its shape and bind effectively to targets. TB-500, chemically known as fequesetide, is basically the greatest hit snippet of that parent molecule. It's a synthetic heptapeptide matching the sequence Ac-LKKTEQ, which corresponds to exactly residues 17 through to 23 of the full T-beta-4 chain. Scientists engineered this fun-sized version to isolate the active site responsible for cell migration and blood vessel growth. Because it's tiny, about 889 Daltons, compared to the parent's nearly 5,000 Daltons, it boasts superior tissue penetration and better systematic availability. However, keep in mind that while this truncated TB-500 successfully reproduces specific localized tissue repair, preclinical evaluations reveal that the full-length 43 amino acid sequence is still required to achieve maximum therapeutic efficacy and broader systematic tissue repair. Now, if you're looking into injury recovery, you've probably run across the Wolverine Stack, the pairing of BPC-157 and TB-500. When used correctly, they complement each other beautifully because they operate through completely different, non-interchangeable physiological pathways to accelerate the body's natural healing cascade. Think of BPC-157 as your localized on-site construction crew. It's a 15 amino acid peptide derived from gastric juice that targets specific site recovery, aggressively stimulates fibroblast proliferation, and upregulates vascular endothelial growth factor, or VEGF, right at the injury site like a tendon or ligament junction. TB-500, however, is your global logistics network. It operates as a systematic recovery agent, circulating globally to downregulate pro-inflammatory cytokines across diffuse muscle groups, improve fascia flexibility, and mobilize stem and progenitor cells from your bone marrow straight to the areas of trauma. But here is where a lot of biohackers accidentally ruin their own chemistry project. Because of their unique molecular structures and electronic charge distributions, both BPC-157 and TB-500 maintain completely distinct, structurally dependent pH values. If you try and save time by mixing both lyophilized powders into a single reconstituted vial, you alter the local pH of the solution. This structural mismatch can completely neutralize the peptides, accelerate their degradation, and destroy the therapeutic potency. You're essentially trying to be Wolverine, but you're just injecting an expensive biophysical buzzkill. Keep separate vials, use separate syringes, and administer them at distinct anatomical sites. Okay, so let's pull out the microscope and look at the exact intracellular mechanics. The primary mechanism of these peptides centers on their high affinity binding to monomeric g-actin. In a resting cell, the peptide acts kind of like a cosmic bouncer. It sequesters about 50% of the total unpolymerized actin pools to keep the cell's structural building blocks from clumping together prematurely. The moment an injury signal hits the cell, cascades activate an enzyme called profilin, which rapidly exchanges the g-actin monomers out of the peptide complex and throws them onto growing actin filaments. This rapid, localized cytoskeletal remodeling is the actual mechanical engine behind the cell motility, allowing healing cells to sprout lamellipodia and literally crawl to the wound site. In Boyden Chambers assay, this actin binding trick stimulates cell migration by 2 to 3-fold at concentrations as low as 10 picograms. Beyond the actin, it triggers a massive downstream survival cascade that activates the critical Ac-LKKTE pathway to promote cell survival. It also upregulates nitric oxide via the ENOS pathway to regenerate blood vessels, utilizes the Notch signaling pathway to optimize vessel inflammation while reducing tissue fibrosis, and coaxes pro-inflammatory M1 macrophages into shifting into anti-inflammatory regenerative M2 healing cells. Let's look at the actual human data. Starting with the major positives, human clinical development has progressed successfully through structured phases using specialized formulations, such as the ophthalmic variant RGN-259, which demonstrated rapid onset therapeutic effects for dry eye disease, and completed statistically significant corneal healing for neurotrophic keratopathy in phase 3 trials. Furthermore, phase 1 human safety trials using the recombinant formulation NL-005 showed linear, dose-proportional pharmacokinetics, consistent clearance, and zero dose-limiting toxicities. So, to keep this deep dive perfectly balanced, we do need to look at the scientific fine print. Because TB-500 is incredibly potent at stimulating angiogenesis, causing a 2.5 to 3.8-fold upregulation of VEGF, you must ensure your internal health is completely clear before running it. While growing new blood vessels is fantastic for healing a torn hamstring, those exact same microenvironmental pathways are identical to what a tumor requires for survival: vascularization and metastasis. If an individual has a dormant, undiagnosed tumor, a highly potent pro-angiogenic peptide can act like a premium plant food for it. This is why comprehensive health screenings are an absolute safety priority first. Furthermore, keep in mind that there are currently 0 completed or published human clinical trials evaluating the scientific synthetic heptapeptide TB-500 molecule itself. The data is extrapolated from the parent protein. Because it's not FDA approved yet, the online market is filled with unregulated research chemical vendors. Independent laboratory testing of these grey market vials has uncovered notable quality hazards, including batches testing positive for heavy metals like lead and arsenic, bacterial endotoxin contamination, and purity levels fluctuating anywhere from 5% to 75%. And for the folks trying to save their hairlines, that data is strictly animal only. In the real world of 2026, advanced human clinical candidates like PP405 are taking over. They're directly modulating lactate dehydrogenase and glycolytic metabolism in hair follicle stem cells to yield a greater than 20% increase in hair density in just 8 weeks. Okay, so let's wrap this up with the massive regulatory plot twist we've been writing. Back in September 2023, the FDA updated its interim 503A bulk drug substances list, placing 19 widely used peptides, including TB-500 and BPC-157, into Category 2. This restricted compounding pharmacies from manufacturing them, accidentally driving wellness patients away from sterile clinics and straight to the unregulated online landscape. But the script completely flipped on February 27, 2026, when Secretary RFK Jr. went on a massive podcast and publicly opposed these peptide compounding restrictions, asserting they lacked clear safety data. He signaled a clear administrative intent to restore access to about 14 restricted peptides to re-establish a safe, regulated compounding market. Following that direction, the FDA issued a formal regulatory update on April 15, 2026, officially removing 12 peptide bulk drug substances, including TB-500 and BPC-157 from the restricted Category 2 list. Right now, they occupy a transitional pending review status. So, what's the final step? Circle July 23, 2026 in your calendar. That's when the FDA's Pharmacy Compounding Advisory Committee, or PCAC, is scheduled to hold a formal evaluation meeting to permanently determine the legal compounding eligibility and safety parameters of both TB-500 and BPC-157. The future of safe clinical grade access is looking incredibly bright. Look, the world of regenerative medicine is moving at lightning speed. But when dealing with complex pathways, it pays to prioritize chemical purity, look at the actual clinical metrics, and above all else, source your compounds safely. What do you think of the upcoming July FDA meetings? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to support our channel's research. And I'll see you next time right here on Peptide Corner.